Welcome to the highlight show for Group 7 of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. Rob Wharne is the top seed in this group and he will be the favourite for it. He's joined by Hiten Patel and Connor Jones and Lewis Roberts. Connor Jones is in as a late replacement for Joe O'Connor, who has had to pull out due to snooker commitments. Let's get straight into our first match. Rob Wharne was the favourite for the group and he stamped his authority immediately with a lovely break clearance to go 1-0 in front. We join Lewis Roberts with the break in frame 2. Stephen Jameson joins myself, Simon Webb, on commentary.
He's worked on his temperament a little bit. Used to be a bit hot-headed and a bit too emotional on the table. Took defeats badly, but you can't really do that when you're almost guaranteed to be defeated more often than not in this tournament. You also have to reframe and rewire your mentality, and it's something I know he's been working on.
Yeah, I think he's still an emotional player. He's still arguably hot-headed, but he doesn't do it on the table. So he keeps himself in check and, you know, deals with it off the table. He would be hard pushed to sort of see how he's feeling out there nowadays. And yeah, I think he's improved his game hugely. And he was already a very good player. Very, very impressed with Rob. Really am.
Well, first like the table then for Lewis Roberts. It was not the best break he's ever hit, but it was successful. And I have a feeling these yellows will actually unfold fairly nicely.
Just feel like he took a lot off that break. It was almost like a sort of front ball tap break. He just wanted to control that cue ball. Yellows are all good apart from one. It's how he wants to go into it. He's got a few different options. A few yellows. Don't think he can come straight back now. I think that would miss it yet. Just would. So has to leave an angle on the next ball to potentially go into it. That doesn't look great, to be honest.
He looks like he's going into the red here, doesn't he?
I feel like if he plays this with enough pace to develop everything, he's gonna throw wide and could even hit the 8 ball here. Yeah.
Oh, and the 8 ball goes in well. Whereas Roberts goes 2-0 down. And he's only been to the table once.
And as
spears another break.
And as you've already said, that he's that sort of player that once he gets his tail up, he can just roll them. He's the sort of player who won't stop, just finish after finish after finish. And he's been handed another very good opportunity here. We talk about the break a lot and how important it is. And interestingly for me, Rob turned up tonight and he went for his practice on the table. All the players get there sort of 20 minutes out there to sort of get a feel for the table and get the cue arm going, and Rob just went out there and just broke, re-racked, broke, re-racked, broke, re-racked. He said he was playing around with break cue, not break cue. I think he might have a new break cue out there and trying to find what was going to work for tonight. He hadn't quite made up his mind and he just wanted to get a feel for it because that's how important the break is.
Well, you mentioned Rob backs himself to pot most balls. Not many would leave this red like this. That is how crisply Rob Wharne pots.
To the point where it's a shock if he misses that. Not an ideal angle left. I thought he might try and do a little bit more, but he respected the pot there. He didn't try and get too close to the next ball or just drop that one in. So the next 2 shots are going to be really key.
Yeah, because he's got to land on the 8 ball. It's not as if it goes anywhere.
The problem is, I'm not sure the red goes up the table. It might go top right, it doesn't go top left. But he's not on it nicely enough.
Well, top right would give him position on the 8 ball at least.
It's not the full pocket either. And this is a man that does, you know, as we've talked about, back his potting. Didn't try and get good on the 8 ball, just accepted a shot on it.
It's for 3-0. And it stays up. Frustrated is Rob there. I think he was honest with himself. That was one that probably just about deserved to miss. Thought about going in, mind. Now, does Lewis go all out here and take on his difficult yellow? Probably doesn't think he can get better on it than this.
What a shot to have to play, though, at 2-0 down, coming towards the halfway point in the match. If he misses this, he's 3-0 down.
It's really awkward cueing as well, you can see. It was a tough shot.
Full-blooded, though. gave that every chance. It's going to cost him the frame though.
Yeah, Lewis, another who will always back his potting. Comes from a snooker background originally as a former professional player.
Lewis missed a double to win frame 4, allowing Rob to counter clear for a comfortable 4-0 victory. Moving on to our second match of the night, Hiten Patel takes on Connor Jones. And it was Hiten that made the nice start, winning the opening frame with a nice clearance. We join Connor with the break in frame 2.
You can absolutely argue that he's peaked right now.
Certainly would, and it wasn't on that bio there, but a Challenger Series winner, which is a huge achievement. In the field we see in the Challenger Series is what earned him a pro status, and very good payday as well.
Yeah, but I think as you heard from Lewis, his opponent that he beat in that Challenger Series final a little bit earlier, for as much as Lewis didn't want to think much about that match, I don't think, for as much as Hiten will have enjoyed the title, I think he'd have absolutely wanted to forget that match as well. It was one of those where for the viewer it was nothing shy of entertainment. For both players involved, it must have been absolute murder.
Yeah, it was tension-filled all the way. Connor didn't hit this break particularly well, but the split's pretty good. They've actually all opened up quite nicely. Controls that cannon well.
Yeah, he actually potted it into the thick part of the pocket just to get that cannon. Next shot needs to be a good one. Maybe the one after, rather.
Yeah, I like the way he's gone here. If he can, looks like he's got the perfect angle just to top on and off and get yourself almost level with the yellow at the top of the table. A few rolls more, a few rolls less, but he should still be able to work it. He can just pick the pocket a little bit. Looks like a good angle just to track the gap. Well, in the end he tried to stun it. Didn't realise the 8 ball went in the same pocket, but he is cued right across that one. Sort of mistake you don't really see from Connor very often. What he talked about his cue ball can often let him down, but this one, it's all about the pot. Yeah, it's awkward cueing off the cushion, yes, but he doesn't miss many of those.
Yeah, for Hiten Patel, it should be bread and butter, but he didn't really have anything to go at to start with, so happy to take his time, and that is a lovely shot to ensure that he's coming back to the table in pole position.
Yeah, and he's done well not to put the red he was playing on the cushion as well. He controlled both ends of that shot really nicely. It's actually quite a tough hit.
Yeah, I don't know if the one cushion's on. It might be. Let's play with a lot of right-hand side. Yeah, it's a good shot. It's tough, isn't it? It's tough out there. You might say second prize. He's got the yellow in amongst 3 reds, but I don't think it's going to be any problem for him.
Not when it's cue ball in hand anywhere on the table. He's all unfold. Doesn't even have to play a cannon. Certainly not the start that man wanted. Almost given a lifeline. Lucky loser call up yesterday. You'd have been hoping for more. Long way to go on the night, but a couple of errors in the opening 2 frames be very disappointing for him. Sort of errors he doesn't like making, certainly that last one.
Never really any doubt about this frame when Connor missed. But again, Hiten has looked pretty flawless so far. 2-0 in front.
A break clearance in the next gave Hiten Patel a 3-0 advantage. Connor Jones breaks off with it all to do. 6 minutes 51 left on the clock.
Connor was just questioning the match clock. It doesn't stop till the final 5 minutes when the balls are being racked up.
I don't think he loves what he's looking at here. He's already looking to take on reds.
Yeah, he completely sort of mishit that break. Strange one.
Well, there's no consideration for what you said before, where he's thinking about just, play one visit really well and get yourself into it. He's trying to play this visit really quickly to give himself the time to still try and get something out of this match.
Yeah, and he's worked these well, as in, either reds are good here, but how do you deal with the 8-ball? Well, that's how he was trying to deal with the 8-ball. He was trying to go top left rather than centre pocket so he could open up the 8-ball for later on in the visit. Even if he had made that, he would have snookered himself. But I guess if he makes the pot, he doesn't end up there. But it's not the worst result.
I think he's still managed to snooker hit, and unless he can sneak one of these yellows, he can just get through to it. Snooker coming back then. Oh, yeah, he was fine.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
He's nearly played a lovely shot there, Hiten. If he had lodged, that yellow had kept on tracking across the table, this shot wouldn't have been on.
I actually think he'd have preferred the ball to stop nearer the right corner, just to make the bottom end of the table a little bit easier, because even though he's got cue ball in hand now, it's still a little bit fiddly in that area of the table, especially now the 8-ball's been knocked into the area as well. Make the case for another snooker here.
Yeah, just to give himself, I mean, he's in no rush.
I'm not sure about this shot.
It's a lovely part.
Yeah, he's actually turned out perfectly. I was thinking put the cue ball to the left of that, play it into the cushion, leave the snooker, and then make the clearance next time. But he's backing himself to make it, and
I think it's a really good shot.
he couldn't have judged it better.
Yeah, I don't think that even if that pot hadn't have made it, I don't think Connor had a shot.
Yeah, if it doesn't reach though, it's a foul.
Well,
it
yeah,
only just
true.
got there, but it was a great shot when you analyse it that way, and he's going to win the match off it. Very, very good performance, this.
Yeah, commanding. The hitman puts away Connor Jones and sails on through to the second round of fixtures tonight. He's fired up.
Connor Jones stays out there. This time he's taking on Lewis Roberts. Both players lost their opening match and need to get something going here. Lewis has the opening break.
Frame on the board thus far tonight. That's going to change. Well, it should do at least in the next 20 minutes. But it's not going to change just yet for Lewis Roberts. He breaks dry. He's definitely going for a lot more control in that break. It's a very deliberate strike. The balls means Connor Jones is first to the table, and he's looking at these reds.
Something has to give here. Both these players will be really disappointed with their performances. Obviously, the scoreline, both lost 4-0, but the way they lost 4-0, they'll be very disappointed with, and something has to give. Connor immediately showing disgust in his control, but he's still in perfect shape here. He can drop this in. The red goes off the yellow and left centre, and doesn't really matter what angle he gets, he'll be able to work it from there. So should be able to get out with a pretty comfortable reverse clearance here to get his first one on the board. Maybe just overhit that positional shot fraction. I reroute and go top right first. No problems. When he was mapping this finish out, I think the left centre was never in his mind for the 8-ball, but that's where it's going, and he's on it nicely enough.
Yeah, never in doubt. Connor Jones does indeed get his first frame on the boards this evening with a fairly rapid reverse clearance.
A break clearance in the next gave Connor a 2-0 advantage, and he made it 3-0 with a counter clearance following a mistake from Lewis Roberts in the third frame. And he has the break in frame 4.
Well,
Sledgehammer.
he may well not. Although, just at first glance, is this a little bit awkward? I think all reds might go, you know.
I think all reds do. I think all yellows might as well, you know. I think it looks awkward, but I'm not sure it is. Red at the top of the table isn't great. So, oh, don't put the yellow in front of the reds. Oh, he's okay. He is going to need one really good positional shot here. If the yellow passes the 8-ball to the bottom right, there's definitely a case for yellows, but you can see why he's gone reds. They are easier, but it's just that one lone red away from the rest of your work. It just, the whole frame hinges on one positional shot. He'll want to do it off his last red. He doesn't want to have to go up the table to come back down the table to go and then get back to the middle of the table. So he'd love to take both of these out. Could have done with, I think, maybe a fraction further up the table.
Yeah, it's not like he's got loads of angle here, but seems happy enough.
Yeah, it was hard to get there.
Oh, this is short.
It was hard to get there from that angle. So if he had left the cue ball almost in the middle of the table, then he'd have had loads of angle, and he just makes the pot and it tracks up. Would have been a lot easier.
Big shot now. Goes for the double, not to be. So Lewis Roberts, if you are to stay alive in the competition, this is your chance.
He's going to go. This is a big shot. Yeah, he was always going to go there because of the time left, and he's got away with it. To a point, he's got away with it.
Yeah, nothing on straight away. Cushion first somewhere is an option. Looking top right. May be able to cut it. He was cushion first, it's not far away. But now these have got to go.
Yeah, these have to fly. I think the yellow does sneak past the 8-ball. If not, that's the problem ball. He's playing on it, so must go. Order of the ones on the left-hand side, you can pick them apart. Got to get rid of the one over the pocket first. Needs it to bounce. Wants to be on the next one down on the left-hand side first. It's hard to then drop this in the middle and then go side, both the ones on the side back to back. So that previous shot, if he'd come twice across to clear the one, would have been a little bit easier, but the double will work. That was a beautiful positional shot on the double.
Yeah, lovely. Very, very nice. He is on the board, Lewis Roberts, 3-1.
A very quick break clearance from Lewis Roberts made it 3-2, putting the pressure on Connor Jones, who has the break in the 6th frame.
Big shot.
Oh, wouldn't you know it?
I thought that was going to be dry when that top left-hand jaws got involved, but the red flies in, and it's a good chance for Connor once again. Yeah, there's a really good chance. It's a kind of mind your work finish. Everything's just pinged open. Guess just the one right in the middle of the table. Does that go top right-hand corner? Yeah, just going on that previous angle, I think it does. Easier to play on it to the top right than it is to play on it to the bottom left, which is the two pockets it really has without the cannon. Must go because he's played on it. Well, has to be careful on this next shot because the 8-ball is well guarded. So he needs a good angle on the last red. I think that's okay, actually. A few choices here. Yeah, very nice indeed.
That's a lovely shot. For a 4-2 win. Connor Jones stays alive in the Champions League, eliminates Lewis Roberts in the process.
The fourth match sees the winner of our opening 2 games do battle, Hiten Patel and Rob Wharne. And it was Hiten that made the fastest start with a break clearance to put himself 1-0 in front. Rob Wharne now has the break in frame 2.
I think that's the best break he's hit tonight. Deserves a ball, and he gets one. Not the best of leaves, though, has to be said. Felt like the break deserved more than this. Look at the way he parked that cue ball in the middle of the table, and if it finishes in the middle of the table, it's not bad. But
look where it's ended. Just kept on running, and he's got a difficult opening shot here, I think.
May not even have one. Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, say he doesn't.
Leave that red.
He needs it to drop. That's a slightly loose one from Rob. He was just playing a safety there, thinking I don't want to leave Hiten reds. And putting the red over the top left corner means Hiten can go reds, because the reason I say don't want to go leave reds is because the only red on the table that's awkward is the red on the bottom right hand side, and you've got the one over the right centre to break it out. So you could pop that one to the top left, get your reds, and if he controls this one well, he could go into his bad ball next shot. And he can do just that. I think the right, you see how he's looking here, I think the 2 reds next to the 8 ball, I think the right hand one of the 2, if he cannons the yellow full in the face, pops the red open, he's on that red to the top left, and everything's then open.
Yeah, lovely.
So a loose shot there from Rob, has to be said. Okay, he was left nothing. He deserved more off his break, but putting the red over the top corner has given Hiten this chance.
It's almost, I don't think he even considered that was an option.
No. He maybe thought the way he played it, it was just going to go into other balls in the middle of the table. It was a slightly strange one.
This shot now to unlock the frame, really. Oh, he's got some work to do. He was just ever so slightly off angle there, so had to use the red and the yellow next to the one he potted.
Yeah, and you need to get on the one at the top of the table before the one he's nearest to now. He'd love to have those as his last 2, so the next 2 shots are key, which means he's got a thin clip to left centre now and needs to control the cue ball to stay on the red at the bottom of the table. It is very thin as well.
Very thin.
He can pot the one to the bottom right, but that doesn't give him a huge amount positionally. All eyes on the cannon as well as the pot.
Well, he's overcut it. Did not expect that. First miss of the night for Hiten Patel. And it comes in his 6th frame at the table.
It's a messy table for Rob, but he's going to attack. The red sat in front of the yellow, left centre. What does Rob do? Yellow off red. That opens up the pocket. So that can do that in 2 shots' time.
Yeah, it's got to be the plan, hasn't it? Could play it now, but I think he'll want to get the yellow off the table just below it, which will be the plan.
He'd love to play on the yellow to top right off this one, just in case the other yellow doesn't come out as he wants it to. But that red near it plays quite big here.
Yeah, so it looks to get it out of commission altogether. That's not great, but it's also not terrible.
As long as he can still see the potting angle, he'll be okay.
Next yellow might need a bit of a solve, though. I think
if he can see potting angle, he can come back. As long as he gets low on it, it'll be fine. Come off top side cushion. Or he's going to go 1 cushion to get on it.
Oh, lovely shot that.
That's brilliant.
What a shot that is.
Yeah, very nice indeed. And okay, he's got a little bit off angle here, but all the room in the world to land on the 8 ball.
Yeah, that's a super shot. Great bit of cueing from the whacker. And as we mentioned in his first match, never really minds leaving himself distance. One of Ultimate Pool's premium potters. Never in doubt. Oh, bullet of a break again from Hiten Patel. What's the leave looking like? It's okay. Have to be yellows, but that's not really a problem, I don't think.
Yeah, every yellow goes. Yeah, reds may have been easier if he had an opening red, but there's no problems with the yellows.
Just straight back on his grind is Hiten Patel. Very good tonight.
Yeah, just trying to work it out. Maybe he's got a bit more angle on this plant than I first thought. If he's straight in on the plant, he makes it and just screws back. Well, he was just about okay. Wanted a bit more on that one. The further right he comes, the straighter he gets on the yellow, the easier it is to control it down the table. Now he's thin on it. He can't hold. You can't just drop this in and hold.
Yeah, he's just looking at the angle here. Needs to judge the line. Also needs to judge the pace. Oh, he's judged that well.
Has indeed.
It's amazing with, you know, the equipment nowadays, just how much bite and nip you can get into that cue ball, even on a shot that looks as thin as that.
Absolutely. He'd love to get on the one at the bottom now. Oh, in trying to do that, maybe the reason I say you want to get on the one at the bottom because of the 8-ball, you wouldn't want to play on the one at the bottom to get on the 8-ball, but that's a poor miss. But he has not left much here. He's got away with this one.
Well,
Rob's in trouble.
I'm not going to say that just yet.
Oh, the plant was on. Didn't think that was on. Didn't get away with it then.
Yeah. Stay in your lane, Webb. And all of a sudden, from absolutely no chance, because Hiten looked very, very comfortable, to maybe a little chance, Rob Wharne is all of a sudden a certainty now to win this frame.
That was a lovely couple of shots, just to make sure he had the angle to come across and make this really easy.
Yeah, not in doubt this one. Rob Wharne about to go in front. So 2 mistakes in 2 back-to-back frames from Hiten Patel, and all of a sudden, the complexion of the night just changes slightly.
Hiten Patel made a reverse clearance in the next to tie the scores up once again, and he has the break in the 5th frame.
Well, that has been pretty faithful. I mean, what a break. Creaming them.
Does he have an opening yellow? I think the 2 yellows to the bottom right are a plant, which he might just be able to squeeze in from where he is now. Otherwise, I don't think he has one. So having to go reds then, which are fine. Okay, it's a little bit trickier because the way they're laid out, but they all still have pockets. Just looking at the overhead of that plant, looks like if he had played it from where he was, every chance it would have missed. Looks like it's set on the jaw. Difficult to say without getting right behind it though. Reds is his choice anyway.
Oh, you got to make those though. Rob Wharne leaps out of his chair.
Yeah, and the bad news for Hiten here is if the yellows aren't a plant, he's left Rob on it. The top one of the 2, I think he's on to the bottom left if he wants to. If it is a plant, then you go away from it, which he's done. And you can come back down for the plant later on.
Well, well, well. Another hit and miss in this match, and it may well come back to bite him.
Rob's just overdone that positional shot, wanted to be straighter. Just about manages to hold on. A little bit thinner on this one than is ideal. Controls that beautifully. Rob really is on it tonight.
Yeah, looks sharp, doesn't he?
He's having a good look at this. To me, it looks absolutely set centre pocket. Well, maybe that angle tells us it isn't, but in it goes all the same.
Yeah, he's managed to hold it easily enough. Just has to give consideration to the cue ball now. Where do you go from here? Make your choice, stick to it. Comfy. Less than 2 minutes to go. Rob Wharne to go in front. He's going to wait for the beeps. Yeah, that's nicely played.
Needs to make a ball, and he has. Oh, he's going to make the 8 ball.
Wow, golden break. Rob Wharne has won, and he didn't even know it. 4-2, the win for the Whacker. Out of absolutely nowhere, the golden break.
Hiten Patel stays out there, this time taking on Lewis Roberts and needing a victory to put the pressure onto Rob Wharne. And he has the break in the opening frame.
And he once again squares off against Hiten Patel. These two have a little bit of history, as we talked about at the start of the night. Lewis cannot advance from this Champions League group. He's the only man who can say that. For the other three, they're still in with a shout. Hiten has to do the business here. Win this match, stays in the night. And he then needs a favour in the last match. It's Connor Jones taking on Rob Wharne. And if Connor Jones does fulfil that favour, he's doing himself a favour as well. It would be three-way 6-red shootout time.
Yeah, that's the tough thing for Hiten. It's one thing to want a bit of help in the group, but the only way you can really qualify here is via a 3-way 6-red shootout. So mentally kind of be quite tough to deal with, and that's a poor miss in the opening frame here for Hiten.
Yeah, that is a bad miss. A surprising one as well.
Yeah, mistakes creeping into the game for Hiten. Started off very, very well in his first match, but a few errors in his second, and already an error here in his third.
Well, looked flawless, didn't he?
Yeah. Difficult match, we always say that, for the player in Lewis's position here. Yes, there's ranking points to play for, and it's still an important match, but he can feel very deflated not being able to go through, and just needs to do a professional job and try and take some chances and get himself a win on the board. As you've already said, Stephen, history between these two players. They did play in this arena a year and a half or so ago in a Challenger final. Went down to a deciding frame, Hiten making a break clearance in that decider to take the title. They have played since as professionals. Lewis got that one on the board 5 or 6 weeks ago up in Blackpool.
Yeah, don't take too much stock in sort of head-to-heads when there's such a small sample size, but always an interesting one for us spectators. I don't think it'll matter the players too much, especially not in this format as well.
Exactly. It's one of those things that we like to keep an eye on, but unless somebody has a sort of bogey player, it's not really that relevant. Quite a bit of angle left on this yellow to the top left. Wants to finish probably straight in. He could go past straight. Short of straight's not great. It brings the red in as a bit of a blocker. If he Goes past straight, you come in for the yellow into the middle pocket, but straight-ish, he can play for it long, which he's got. He's just off straight the wrong way, but accept what you've got, just stun this in and take the yellow long.
And in one of those sort of tournaments where you never really count anything out, it would be very Ultimate Pool Champions League for Lewis Roberts to rock up in this match and play lights out and beat Hiten Patel. But having said that, he's run aground because he's got a shot to play here. Does he have to bend this?
Yeah. And that was all because of the shot 2 shots ago. If he gets straight in on the yellow to right centre, he drops it in straight, and then he leaves himself the perfect angle to get on the 8 ball. Because he had to go on and off the cushion, just left himself a shade more angle, misjudged the cannon on the red, and all of a sudden you're snookered on the 8 ball. So it's such a fine line out there. Could have got away with it, but not to be. Gives Hiten the chance to get this first frame on the board. Hasn't been Lewis's night. He'll have far better with Ultimate Pool.
Yeah, without a doubt. But Hiten is still very much in this.
Lewis with the cut break then makes the ball.
Well, he did this towards the latter stages of his last match. Just went to the cut break and he found some success with it. Obviously, he's so worried on that front ball break of losing control of the cue ball. He's sacrificing quite a bit of power, can't quite settle on it. Cut break has been a little bit more successful for him.
Not a great layout here. Wants to be yellows. I don't think he's got one. Has to go reds then, or play safe, but he's going to chase the reds. A very difficult layout. And that's really not landed anywhere.
Yeah, how do you like these?
The problem is when you're in the position Lewis is in, how much are you up for a fight and you know, willing to get stuck into a tactical frame. You just want the chances to be open and take them on and try and get the win that way. You don't really have the stomach for a fight in this sort of situation, which is what this frame calls for.
Well, I think that was a slightly tactical shot. For Hiten Patel, he is not one for dilly-dallying.
He could go if he wants to.
Yeah.
Got the one to the bottom of the table, drop that in. You've got one to right centre to follow. He's got to be careful not to knock the reds in front of the yellow, but he's going to go the other way, deal with the ones in the middle first. That's okay, because he can pot the one on the left-hand side. Yeah, I quite like this rather than the way I was thinking. I was worried the red was going to get in the way of the yellow. That's taken out of it now. Drop this in, get somewhere near straight in on the yellow to right centre next would be perfect. A little bit short, but he's on it all the same. The only reason I was saying straighter in was because if you're straight in, you just drop it in. You've got the yellow to the top of the table and then leave the one at the bottom last. Now he's got to play a shot. One at the bottom to get on the one up the table. Not guaranteed. It's an awkward little positional shot to play. Half a roll shot, short of perfect, but at least he's on it. Half a roll less, he'd have been on nothing. Still has a shot. The cue ball's got acres of room, so just concentrate on the pot.
Yeah, it's missable though. Lovely pot. Great shot from the hitman.
A break clearance made it 3-0 and the match was wrapped up with a counter clearance in the 4th frame. On to our final match. If Rob Wharne can avoid defeat, then he will go through. If Connor Jones gets victory, then it will be a 3-way 6-red shootout. Rob Wharne made the fast start, winning the opening frame. Connor Jones now has the break in frame 2.
Brilliant break from Connor.
Yeah, it's probably his best of the night, actually. And, I mean, the split here is fantastic. One of those where you take a look at this and you think, well, this should be 1-1. Tells a little bit about how Connor's feeling if he can take it out. But a bit up and down tonight is Connor Jones. But sometimes on these Monday nights, it's about winning the moments, rather than necessarily being the most consistently decent. Can you win the right moments, carry yourself through?
Yeah, and this time the first couple of shots are really nice. Gets himself onto his trickiest ball. Gets the next 2 shots right. It'll all be there for him. It's just the next positional shot for me. Just wants to land nicely on the next ball. And it could just be a case of rolling the last 4 in. And he gets there with a little flick. Not what he wanted, but he'll absolutely take it.
Yes. Yes, he will.
Is he straight enough here just so he can top through? It looks like he might be just off straight where the 8-ball could remain in his... Yeah, that's why he's having a second look at this. If he's straight, he just tops through. But he's just off straight the wrong way. That 8-ball plays massive. Yeah, it gets there though. Nicely controlled.
Out of the pocket from Connor Jones, 1 apiece, 13 to play. He was an unlucky loser in the qualification stages, mind. Was a 10-9 defeat by Luke Sanges, who we'll see later on in this competition. And it was his name pulled from the hat to drop in last minute to replace the unavailable Joe O'Connor. Rob Wharne on the break. It's a good one, but it's not a good first shot.
First mistake in a while, that from
the whacker.
Rob.
It is, and what a time to make it as well.
Missed a couple in his first match, but nothing in his second. So first big mistake for him for a while. Chance for Connor to punish it. These are all there. Nice first shot as well. Just allowing him to play that one to connect to this one on the trickiest ball. Interesting to see how he goes about these ones at the bottom. Yellow in the break area, doesn't go to the right-hand side of the table. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, to get there is actually done so well. Wasn't a lot of angle to work with.
Still needs one more. Just make sure you don't allow anything to get in the way. No, he didn't, but it's not the best of positional shots he's ever played. I think he had to go the other side of the 8-ball. It's hard to get on the 8-ball now.
Hard, but not impossible. How do you like those for positional shots? It's not perfect. It's not bad. Lovely.
Connor punished a mistake from Rob Wharne to make it 3-1. Rob has the break in the 5th.
I think he knows exactly how he's feeling. Rob Wharne needs something to go for him. I'll stand by for the teapot.
Oh, and he's left one bad ball on the table and the perfect angle to develop that bad ball first shot here.
Yeah, this is probably where you'd go cue ball in hand.
Yeah, not far off it. Oh, he's decided not to, so maybe it isn't the perfect angle. Problem is, the longer you leave it, the harder it is. It did look like he was perfect on it previously. Doesn't look any different now. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, perfect. In fact, I'd have been tempted for top right there. He wasn't going to get better on it down the cushion. So he's decided he's going to play the cannon rather than play on it, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. And that's gone out well.
Yeah, really nice this.
Well, time to text your mates and let them know what's about to happen. We don't get these very often. Connor Jones wins 4 frames to 1. Both will stay out in the arena. They'll be joined by the hitman Hiten Patel. It's 3-way 6-red shootout time. Well, here we go. 3-way 6-red shootout time. For the uninitiated, you break the balls, you pot all 6 reds. Quickest time wins. Object ball and cue ball must be stationary. The rest can be moving.
Hit that firmer than a lot of people hit the break, but the cue ball stopped quickly and the ball stopped quickly. It's actually a perfect little break. He can go quick here. These all connect. Don't miss and you've got a perfect time. Oh, he should have rolled that through.
This shot's massive. May even take 2 goes at it. Oh, that's a sun pot, Connor Jones. That's a very, very decent time. Our time at the bottom is unofficial, 22.06.
That's very, very good. It really is. I think he could have been 20 seconds if he rolls it through and goes both to the bottom right, but excellent the way he played it. Had to play that one to the top right slow. He couldn't afford, if he hits it hard and it jaws and it spits out, then yeah, he could have saved half a second if it goes in, but if he misses it, then it could cost him. So did the right thing, and going first, you'd absolutely take 22 seconds.
Yeah, it's round about that sort of mark. We're getting the official time as we speak. We're hearing 22.12 is the official time for Hiten Patel to beat. And this is the strange advantage of going first, because no one wants to, especially in a 3-way, but if you can put a time that is very, very difficult to beat, all of a sudden all the pressure that was on you is transferred, and what you want is to know what to beat, and it gives you a little bit more certainty. Anyway, here we go. 22.12 to beat for Hiten Patel. That's a lovely shot.
Yeah, cue ball's running loose though. It's going to be tough from here. He's still got 4 to make, and he's halfway. He can go stop, stop, stop if he absolutely flies.
Oh, we needed to stop that there.
He can beat this.
This is close. Oh, it is very close.
Just outside for me.
Oh, it is very close. We will get the official time in just a moment.
Well, this sums up exactly what we're talking about with the six red shootout with Ultimate Pool. The standard of it is increasing the more we see it. 22 and change for both the first two players, both very, very good times. Referee's going to check the time. They're also going to check to see if there's any fouls, just to make sure the cue ball and object balls were stationary on every single shot. Remember, the object ball you're playing has to be stationary. Other balls can be moving. That was actually very impressive from Hiten, because the first 2-3 shots, the cue ball was running a little bit loose, but last three, he absolutely was just stop, 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 and recovered the situation.
Can confirm the time, 22.48. It is just outside for Hiten Patel. Just.
So it's either Connor Jones or Rob Wharne.
It's still a very, very quick time to beat, remember. 22.12 is the time to beat. It was set by Connor Jones, and the whacker needs to beat it.
And this is where practice comes in. Now, 22 is very, very quick to beat, but Rob knows that he has the capabilities to do that because he practices it. He has done plenty of sub-20 in practice. A lot of it comes down to the break. If the break works out right, he knows he can do it, but it is huge pressure on.
Rob Wharne has had a very, very good six red shootout time. He's gone 17 seconds before.
Not the greatest of layouts here. This is good, though. Oh, he could have rolled through for the one in the middle there. That would have really helped him.
Oh, this is a huge shot now. What a pot, Rob Wharne. But he misses the easy one. He did the hard work. And Rob Wharne doesn't quite get through. Devastation for the whacker. And Connor Jones dropped in at the very last moment to the Ultimate Pool Champions League. And he is going to qualify through. Huge, huge drama here.
Heartbreaking loss for Rob Wharne and Hiten Patel, but it is Connor Jones that goes through to the second stage of the Champions League. He lost his first match 4-0, but he was able to recover and get it done via a six red shootout. If you'd like to watch this whole night back, you can. It is on ultimatepool.tv. Or if you're looking forward to next week, then this is what we have for you. Stevie Dempsey, the defending champion, is in action. He'll be joined by Liam White and Cole Bedford. But there'll be plenty of attention on the snooker star Mark Williams making his Ultimate Pool debut. It's a night not to be missed, Monday the 27th of February for Ultimate Pool Champions League Group 8.